Welcome everyone to our episode 74 of the section Drops of Wisdom. In today's episode, we are going to talk about couples, the psychology and the study of the marital process and relationships. And the author of this review article, which is very extensive and has a lot of information about couples, is from the most important researcher in my point of view in terms of relationships and the more real interaction between couples, and it's John Gottman. So, and the title of our episode is the 7 ideas, sorry, the 7 days if you want to implement each idea every day, the 7 ideas that will save your marriage or relationship. And of course, you can replicate these ideas every single week and you can take each one of them for each day. Let's say it like that. So my first question that I would like to ask to everyone that is watching with us, and that's the question where I can extract more information, is how do you handle conflict in your relationships? So every one of us have these kind of interactions in terms of an intimate relationship or relationship with our boss, our coworkers, or anyone that is close to us. We have a way of handling conflict or building up small or simple stuff that is common that, for example, you do or how do you behave. But it is completely different for the person that you are living with or that you are interacting with. And those little things, those simple stuff that happens in an everyday situation is the spark that initiates a small dosage of resentment if it is not addressed, if it is not talked in the moment that happens. So saving those things to discuss later or to say later is just going to create more conflict. Therefore, the next time that you are thinking that you are doing a favor to the other person because you are being polite or agreeable for not saying anything, you are not doing a favor and you are not easing the interaction. You can think instead that expressing your needs is also important and relevant to sustaining healthier interactions in the future. And this is extremely important so that the other person knows you really well and knows what bothers you, what triggers you, and that you don't like certain things or certain way of listening to the way you are expressing about something. So, what is the first idea? Stay mindful of negativity. Recognize when negativity starts to dominate your interactions. We all have this kind of negative bias because our primitive brain is based on that. You are looking for that to protect yourself about any kind of danger that you are seeing in your surroundings. So it is completely normal that you have some days or some moments where you are more negative. Make a conscious effort then to address and diffuse negativity before it becomes an absorbing state within the relationship. The more you express to the person that you are having an interaction that you are not having a good day either for the traffic, for your boss, for a coworker, for your children, for whatever reason it is, and there are million of reasons that you can be negative about, just express that. Just say why you are not feeling well. And that will help the other person to understand and to be more uh, empathetic with you. to understand better that you're not in a mood to talk about certain things, and that you can be more supportive in certain things that you are doing. Number two, practice positive communication, incorporating positive nonverbal cues and meta-communicative content. And what is this? What is meta-communicative content? Meta refers to beyond the communication, going beyond the things you want to say and trying to perceive, not guess, not guess, because we are not magicians and we are not future tellers. We are people, we are individuals, but we can perceive the mood that the other person is in. And if we perceive that the other person is not in a good state to talk about certain things, then you can start doing repair attempts by doing extra things in those moments to balance the expressions of negative affect with statements aim at resolving conflicts that probably they are not your responsibility, of course, but we all have bad days. We all have bad moments, and we can understand that the other person is in one of those moments. So being just empathic with that person can change the process and the flow of the relationship, and that will foster understanding of the other person as well when you are in a moment where you are in a negative state. So it's this reciprocal street. Be mindful. Number three, be mindful of your emotional expression. We all have expressions that sometimes we don't realize that we are doing it, like turning your eyes or trying to watch your phone while the other person is talking, or being distracted, or simply moving your eyebrows in certain way that the other person knows that you are not in a good mood. So all of those emotional expressions are going to be heightened in the conflict resolution. So be aware of those expressions. And while it is natural to feel those negative emotions and to feel depleted sometimes and to feel that you don't want to talk in those moments, or you are tired of talking about certain topic that you are just turning and giving ruminative cycles between the two of you, and now you are both in a negative mood, well, strive to express them constructively and avoid escalating tensions unnecessarily. Make a pause in those moments and just relax and do something that keeps you out of that state and allows the process of conflict resolution to reinitiate again and to address those issues that were pending. Number four, prioritize effective repair attempts. What does this mean? This means that you have to focus yourself on repairing the interactions that you have rather than perpetuating negativity. This means that whenever you know that there was something that was not resolved because the other person was in those states where she or he was in that negative mood, simply just take again the topic, but use constructive communication techniques to address underlying issues and work towards some resolution. And in this point, I want to clarify and I want to be specific that we need to grow up, because many times we are not behaving as adults, we are behaving as teenagers or even as children and making tantrums about certain things that are really dumb and that you are just taking them personal and they are not personal. They are addressing something that you already know, and that's why you become triggered, because you already know that you need to change certain things in your life, and the other person is really making an effort to tell you the things in the most um, amicable way, in the most agreeable way, in the most empathetic way, or soft, so that you can realize that you need to do something with your life because you are going in a negative spiral in any of the things that the other person perceives, because that's the beauty of relationships. They are our mirrors. They are the space where we can grow, where we can expand, where we can notice many things that are underlying in our health, emotional recovery. So if we open more to be more to receive more the criticism, if it's constructive, of course, we are going to be able to achieve a resolution. We are going to be more open to take on certain advice or way to solve the things. And it is about recognizing that we are different kind of individuals and we all have strengths and weaknesses. And it is about learning from the strengths of your couple and grow instead of sucking the weaknesses and complaining and bitching about them. So don't do that, because you just create these spirals of negativity, and that's not good for resolution. That is just a stupid game of points that couples many times engage in. Number 5, cultivate social processes. What does this mean? Actively work to expand your social processes within the relationship, encourage more open communication, have more interaction in terms of having those afternoons in any of the 7 days, at least once a week, so that you have these spaces to talk about your relationship, the things that bother you, the things that you can grow up with, plan trips, do something so that you feel excited that something is happening in your relationship. Because when relationships start stagnating, they decay, they decay and they start dying, and the love starts dying, and communications start closing. So encourage those social processes to open communication, to have more empathy, to have more understanding, to create a supportive environment conducive to resolving those conflicts and fostering positivity instead of just um, having negative interactions. Number six, number six, seek understanding. When faced with negativity, strive to understand the emotions that the other person is having and the motivations that are driving the other person. This is also related to the meta communication. Try to see beyond the things and be more understanding in terms of the emotion and motivation of the other person. Know your partner, know what she or he likes or and dislikes, so that you do the things that can grow the communication and that can expand the openness. Approach conflicts with empathy and a willingness to listen, because when we are not paying attention and we are doing other things, in spite of being a woman, because many women say that they are multitasking, and that is proven that is just false. We cannot do two things at once. So when you are interacting and communicating, don't do anything else. Just communicate with your partner and pay attention and watch to the eyes. Make eye contact, because that is respect for your partner. So approach conflicts with empathy and a willingness to listen rather than reacting defensively, rather than making tantrums like a children or like a teenager, or engaging in this game of reciprocal negativity and just bitching about each other and trying to gain more points as if it was a game. So it is not a game. It is a relationship where you have to cultivate this openness and this constructive growth, and you can say things that are going to allow the other person to create that space to grow, to recognize also, be humble, to recognize that you might be in a loop of negativity and that you might be stuck in your life or feeling that you are not understood. It is valid, and we all have those moments in our lives, and we all have passed through those moments, and it is difficult to get out of there if you stay in that place of negativity. It's just like when you want to eat something from your refrigerator and you left a bottle of milk that has already passed the expiration date for 3 weeks. And in the moment that you notice that that milk already expired, you didn't throw it out because you were lazy. That's the only reason. You said, well, I will throw it out the next time. So after 3 weeks, you open the refrigerator and you see that milk, but you don't remember that that milk is already expired and it is, of course, bad for your health. So you put it, you drink it, and the moment you drink it, you perceive that taste that is expired, that is not good, and you will have a consequence because your stomach will be in pain. And in the best case scenario, you will just have that stomach ache for some minutes. You go to the bathroom and that's it. But in terms of the emotions, it's the same effect. The more you swallow the emotions that you know that you need to say, the more you are polite or agreeable to not say the things that bother you, the more you are drinking that bad milk. And the easier and the faster that you will arrive to symptoms, physical symptoms that will create more negativity. So you are creating this loop of negativity by yourself in your own life. And the other person, many times, didn't have anything to do with that. It was your choice to not say something that bothered you. It was your choice to be agreeable in certain moments where you could express the things that you didn't like. And because you were in those situations and your decision was not the best, or you were lazy, well, the consequence is that that will be swallowed. That emotion is not going to be left it out. You are not going to let it flow. So it will stagnate in your body and it will build up with other negative emotions until you have a symptom, a headaches, stomach aches, rash, whatever it is, wherever it is expressed. So just be careful to be more understanding and more humble to accept that many times it is in your own responsibility to improve the interaction. Number 7, practice self-reflection and growth. The moment that you are not self-reflecting on your life, the moment that you are not aware of the things that you are saying, the moment that you become a plant, the moment that you become an inanimate object that is just passing by, and the moment that you don't grow, you start dying. So those two are extremely important. Being in silence, being having time to pause, taking away that uh, dumb sentence about not having time, because saying that you don't have time for you, saying that you don't have time to reflect, to pause, to have some moments for you, is saying that you don't love yourself, is saying that you don't want to grow, and internally or unconsciously you are choosing to die. That's it. Regularly reflect on your own behavior and its impact on the relationship without watching or without trying to remember the things that the other person did or didn't do. Just reflect on you. Just reflect on your behavior. Just reflect on the things that you are doing every day with your own life and in the interaction of the things that you are doing. That's it. That's all we have to do. Be open to feedback and willing to make changes to improve communication and foster a positive dynamic within the relationship. The more you are willing to make changes, the more you are willing to improve communication, the more you look for these social spaces and foster this positive dynamic between the two of you, the more the relationship will grow and the more you will have um, energy to reflect on your own things, on your own behavior. I hope that this episode and these 7 ideas to save your relationship or save your marriage help you to really improve the quality of the interactions that you have. And if you are going to initiate a relationship, be yourself. Don't use a mask. Don't pretend that you are a certain kind of person because you are in the previous stage that you want to meet someone. Be open, show your cards, show the way you are, and reflect on your strengths and weaknesses. Because when you start a relationship like that, being completely transparent, you have a lot more chances to really get to know people in a raw way, in a real way, and have a much more meaningful connection. Thank you very much for paying attention, for being here. And please, you know what I'm going to tell you. Subscribe to my channel, subscribe to the podcast, and help me to support this endeavor of holistic wellness with science. And you can go to my website and support me there. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful middle of the week. We will listen to each other next week. Bye.